Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Eddie Marcus again. I realize that it is very difficult to hear. Sounds can come in and they can go out. But do we hear is always a question because of the responses indicating that perhaps for some reason many of us can't hear, or perhaps it's the message that's being given, because some messages are perceived and accepted quite well. I come to you today because I have a little bit more time to focus on the things of life than and the things of life that affects each of us more than most of you have chance to do. You're busy trying to survive the day, the week, the year. And my focus has been trying to find a way to make it easier for you to enjoy the lives that you've been given to live. And that kind of goes against the norm. It is difficult to get people to go against the norm, even if it's in their own best interest. But I want to say to you, ladies and gentlemen, that the enemy of life, the enemy of truth, the enemy of love is big and bold, and it is ready. You know that there are people out here in this world that do not care about anybody but themselves. You know that. It doesn't take a God to tell you that or to show you that. You know that. You've experienced it, and if you haven't, you've seen it. Sometimes I think for those who believe in the Bible, or believe in God, the spiritual life, that the one who got man off the path of life, that voice, that self, that snake, that devil, that's whatever you want to call it, said that you would be gods yourselves. And that is the message that was being hidden from you. You'd be as gods. And men strayed away on that path. And that path has been continually traveled. Men pursuing Godship. Pursuing Godship. Up until this very day. And they have progressed and progressed and progressed. And all of their progression was based upon deceiving the people to accept that way of life, the so-called norm now, as the way of life. And what that norm actually does, it perpetuates a continuation of men seeking to be God. And the secret of that is that if you do your research, you will find that most of the powers that be that keeps trying to climb that Godship line are people that are connected. They are of a bloodline of that beginning, that deception beginning, becoming God. Becoming God. And when you try to look for your leadership and you try to see, well, this one is connected to this one and this one connected to this one, they are leading back to that bloodline that began all the way to say that you will be as gods. And they apparently, obviously believes it. And they're working on it. But they're working on it. The path that they follow brings a lot of destruction, all kinds of destruction, for which they have geared up enough right now to destroy so many human lives. They're ready. They have militarized your local police, your state militia. They have gotten people in every position of control or power. They are connected one way or the other to that element. Many of them are unaware of what's going on. They're in a job so they can pay their bills. They're innocent. They don't really know what's going on. As you are innocent, you are innocent. You can't hear. That's not your fault. This is something that has been led. This is just as this other one was building, trying to be God. In order to be successful in that, they had to be empowered by the people empowering them. The people using their own bodies, their own hands to do the work of that which is evil. And at the same time, in order to do that, the other people who were not a part of that had to be dumbed down to accept that. So there was a campaign set forth to dumb the rest of the people down, and they can't hear. So whoever comes bringing the message got to be one heck of a carpenter. Because there's a lot of digging that's got to go down. There's going to have to be a lot of pushing and pulling. They're trying to get a message through the deafness of an ear. But yet, that is a responsibility that has to be done because, ladies and gentlemen, that power is coming to crash us, to crush us. And if you stand up against it, not allow it to control you, and it will control you, then they got something else for you. So you might have your guns, those of you in your homes who have decided that you're going to keep your arms. You're going to bear your arms to protect yourself against a government that disrespects you. Well, that's a lot of guns, but it's not the kind of power that can be used against you. But there's a way out. I wouldn't tell you this stuff if there was not a way out. There's a way out. And the way out is this. We, as the other people, have got to come together. I don't care what our differences are. We're going to have to come together in order to be victorious in this situation. Every church, regardless of your affiliation, your denomination, or none, we're going to have to come together to save ourselves. Blacks and whites, men and women, minorities and otherwise, who are left out, who have not been accepted into that fold or haven't found a place for us yet, for those who are waiting, we're going to have to come together. And our aim must be to satisfy ourselves, recognizing that most of the things that are required to satisfy individuals are the same things that satisfy each of us. And so we're going to have to make sure that those things that are coming amongst us are guaranteed to us within the system. Within the system, we're going to have to guarantee that to ourselves. We're going to have to, and when guaranteeing that to ourselves, that means we got to respect one another. We got to respect one another. And if we are to respect one another, it means that we are giving allegiance to a power that's bigger than you and I. And it's not a power of destruction. It's a power of creation. We're going to have to do that. Now, in doing that, that means we're going to have to disregard the laws, rules, and regulations of deception. We're going to have to create, in the middle of this situation, paradise, as it were. I know that might sound like it's something that can't happen, but it can happen. If we can create hell, we should be able to create paradise, and that should be more wonderful in the process. So that's what we're going to have to start doing. Now, the opposition, as I said, have militarized all of the police forces. And they can just give a command and the forces are going to come down on us. But I want you to know, and I want you to think about this. I don't want you to trust me. I know you don't. You, for those of you who want to know, you still just can't accept it. But I'm going to tell you anyway. If we come together as one, we are empowered. See, the whole thing has not been really that much of a struggle. On the one hand, this is what happens with choice. On the one hand, you can choose to go on the path following that deception of trying to be God, trying to create yourself into being God. You can go on that path. That's a choice you can make. Or the other choice that you can make is that you are not God, that you are a creature, that you are a creation of a God. And recognizing that, you understand that all things that are possible for you are good. And you don't have to follow a lie. You don't have to try to be God. You know you're not God. So you follow God. And in following God, then God becomes your protector. And all of the armaments, all of the tanks, all of the planes, all of the concentration camps, all of the coffins, all of the plans to annihilate billions of the human race can be thwarted by the power of God. Now, I know many of you don't believe in the parting of the Red Sea. But believe it or not, whether it happened or not, I tell you one thing. The power that is responsible for all existence is capable to part the Red Sea. Whether it did or didn't, I don't know. And that same power is big enough and willing to protect us from this big military complex. So, the choice, follow those that want to become God, or follow those who are following God. Thank you.